Hi everyone, welcome. This is Kimberly from As the Cards Turn Tarot. We're going to be looking at the never-ending pick-a pile. Okay, I am working on the rest of the signs. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your kindness. And with that being said, we're going to look at your crystals and get this reading going. Okay, thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Okay, you have a calmness about you. You have made an attempt with something that I think was closed. I see apologies on the board. I see no reaction from that as well. I see some silence there. So, one. So maybe you're being quiet or somebody else around you is being quiet. But I also see a little bit of a head game. I'm not going to lie. And Aries does not like that. There goes the lights blinking, right? Aries doesn't like that. I don't know why I said Aries. This is the never-ending pick-a-pile. So is that an action also? Maybe because in pile one there was an action taken and you didn't like. I don't think that you like the reaction. So we'll see. So, well, you set out to do something and you're keeping your word to it. You found clarity. It's right down the center. You may have a MC sign with air or an air element in your chart, which is a form of communication. You were very stern with it. You didn't repeat yourself. You let it loose, and that was it. I see a calmer you. The heart chakra has been cleared out a lot. You've been keeping busy creatively. There's some good news or something coming to you as well that you'll be pleased with. I feel something in July is coming to your crystals for me. Let's see, three. You got the black ring agate, so you've been working hard on something, maybe solitude. You're trying to ground three or more things. There's a lot of things you're trying to ground. So the energy is around you. You have support. I see that. A lot of support around you. Hold on one moment. That's my dog. Hi, thank you for waiting for me. I just had to bring him in. Okay, so we're going to look at some crystals here and see what they say. This is for pile one, never ending. Okay. Adjust my glasses. You got the sunstone. Take pleasure in the things that you do. You have a lot of love around you. I've seen that too. And remind you, remember who you are. Remember who you are. You remember your worth with something. This is for pile two. Pile two. Never ending pick a pile. Pile two. Never ending pick a pile. You got hematite. Ground yourself and take action. I felt that too. So you took action with something. Don't worry, we'll get a smaller breakdown. You're going to be glad you did. This is for three. Can I have one more for three, please? One more for never ending pick a pile for three. epidote, go deeper. So there's something that you're doing, and I felt that. I felt with the 3 grounding crystals that you have, Botswana. It's they're hard to do, but you're enjoying it. So whatever 3 is. Mm-hmm. Recall your dreams. Get out of your own way and schedule yourself in. So maybe you've been working on it so hard, even though it says schedule yourself in, maybe there should be a different regimen of what you're doing for 3. Maybe you're taking time away and then going back to, like when you're looking for something and it's right in front of your face, you walk away and then it's right there, it's like that. Giving it time away. Let's see if there were any blocks what we can look at. For this is for 1. Self-worth, which came out twice. And there's been a movement of some sort that there was differences in it, You were hoping for a better result, but you stayed loyal. And I felt that, like being the better person, you attempted to, you took an unknown and you approached it, and you had hope that if you kind of bend it a little bit, this person wouldn't bend. And it showed loyalty, and then maybe a frenemy is coming out, but we're going to be looking at a smaller breakdown. So, for 1, that's the movement. You might have approached something that was stagnant, and it wasn't time yet as well. Number 2, you have fulfillment. You're not focused on something. You're looking at it like, wow, you're almost seeking a spark for yourself. Closed book. So you're meditating on something creatively as well. You could be a healer. You could be into tarot. There's a red jasper tree, so your root chakra is speaking loudly to yourself of something that fulfills you. So what is it that you want to do? Take action with. Mm-hmm. You've been meditating, I feel that. Let's look at 3. You're working on confidence, and there's an unknown with it for 3. In the middle of it, it's something that you had to let go and maybe come back to. I feel that. Yeah. It's a choice that of letting go and coming back to something. There's an unknown energy with it. But there's a lot of spark, a lot of energy. I like that. Enthusiasm, confidence comes with it. There's an understanding when you return. Yeah, High Priestess of Fire. I knew I felt that passion in you. Maybe you have passion you didn't even realize, or you're working on something, or something of a hobby, or something like that. But you really are, full of passion. You have an understanding with something, but you're going to let go of something. And I think that's just a little time out for yourself. We're going to hold these cards here, but we're going to go back to these cards for a second, because I want to get a layout of what energy is present for all 3 piles in the collective. Can I have the energies for all 3 piles? Whenever you pick a pile. The outside energy that you may be dealing with. The outside energy. Awfully quiet. Zodiolite. Speak your truth. So somebody, maybe even in pile 1, ignited something, and then there's no return, a fresh start, because it came upside down. Put it right side up, though. Get up, moving. So there's an action. Of course there's action with the Aries placements that we're in for the full moon. All those planets. There's an energy for a fresh start. There's an energy to speak your truth, get things off your chest. Because there's a pleasant energy with it as well. fresh start. Can they have one more for the fresh start for the outside energies? One more to help them get through the outside energies. Smoky quartz, phantom quartz. Embrace change. So there's change happening. I like that. Let's get a smaller breakdown. We'll get some affirmation cards too. Let's see for pile 1, what was this movement that they're looking at? Well, there was combat and strife, right? You knew that there was an argument of something. There was an apology on the board, like I said. You know, could have been a young energy. But there was a combat and strife in the past with it. And you came running to it. Or it came running to you. You realized there was, maybe you went off and made an apology. Or someone came to apologize to you. And maybe you're not saying nothing. Yeah, there's an unknown to it. So they're not happy with something. Whatever you're dealing with. And you knew it. You knew it, you know, that they have options to maybe say something with an apology, but they're choosing not to. They're almost in a celebration type of a thing, that this might be a third party situation as well. You know, but you're leaving it out and you're moving forward. You were collaborating. There might be somebody else dealing with this same person, but there's drama with it. And secretly, you'd rather have another choice. You don't want to deal with it. So you made a choice, definitely in a movement. Yeah, you're holding the Empress energy. So I like that energy. You know what you want. I love the Empress. You're holding the Empress energy. You know what you want, you know where you're going, you know where you've been type of thing, you know what I mean? This is for 2 in meditation. What are they meditating about? Why is their root chakra running hard? For 2, never-ending pick-a-pile. Well, there's a buttman walking away, letting go of something. You had no choice in the matter. Maybe it was a job, because I also feel that, you walked away. There was a decision. You made a harsh decision, and now you're reflecting on it. Yeah. You worked hard on this for a long time, and it's like almost giving up. You feel the world, the wheel isn't turning in your favor. So you kind of pulled back. You observed enough in meditation to pull back or clear up in meditation. There's something that you're running hard with that. That's what it's saying. Your root chakra's running fast, running hard. Maybe you're doing a lot of things. Maybe you have a sense of creativeness that's almost a pulling to you. That's why the meditation card is there. One more on that, please. You'll get clarity. King of Swords. You don't have to be male or female. It could be a leader structure. It's very intellectual, very logical decision you made. You did it with authority. You tried to be polite about it. You was discerned for the other person. So, but morals got in the way, and you self-disciplined too, so you did the right thing. Whoever's in 2. You did the right thing. Yeah, you gained strength with this. Which I like. There's 2 sticking out here, and I was in 2. Someone's thinking about what they lost. They're not looking at what they have. And I think you knew this energy. They weren't willing to plant anything. There was such a stagnation in it. It was going on for so long. It really was. It was slow and stagnant, And then they come in slow. but you really thought they would change, and no. This is for 2. It wasn't a victory, and that's what I felt. Mm-hmm. Your mama raised no fool is what I'm hearing. See, the victory card was upside down. They weren't planting nothing. They were only thinking, wow, this is done. I think they dug themselves more in a hole. As far as the meditation goes, I think, you'll start with your root chakra and then forth you'll be good. But there was a spark that tried to happen, and I think it was focused only on the negative here. Because if you look at that card, that person's focused. But look how the focus is on the fire, you know what I mean? So it's on the passion. Of course, you got it backed up. Backed up right there with passion, like double passion. That turned out not to be a victory. And someone was loyal and someone wasn't. So we have that, speaking the truth here. There's something that you're working on, 3, and you think it's not going to smooth out. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You're running on faith, but it's a beautiful energy to have. You're overthinking something. Something is definitely complete, but you don't think it was done correctly. And you're thinking about it. But, you're going to see your talents. If you're carrying this energy, you're carrying the Queen of Wands, you're going to see your talents. You're going to see that light come in just like that picture I painted. You're going to see a light bulb moment and you're going to run with it, and you're working hard, so keep up the good work. That was for 3. You also got Princess of Fire and an Aries, Leo, Sag. Again, Aries, Leo, Sag. So I might be talking to an Aries, Leo, Sag in pile 3. Let's look at this Speak Your Truth for all piles. Well, there's a choice that's come to a rest and it needed to be healed from. And then you've got a gift of love coming in, or gift of understanding, or emotional stability, or a beginning with something. I really like that for that section. Let's look at Criscola. Start fresh. Criscola. Can we have a little advice on that? Criscola. For all 3 piles, never ending. We got 1. When things are out of control or something that, the wands are like wants, right? So if the Queen of Wands is upside down, it's pushy, it's demanding, it's overbearing, it's self-righteous, bullying, okay? Manipulative. So there's a manipulative energy, and I say keep the focus off of that. Not learning from mistakes, unwilling to learn, lack of growth, poor work ethics, lack of commitment, lack of teamwork. So there needs to be a teamwork effort, and I want to say that's the job that I felt the change with. That job. I think it was in 2 or 3. Something that you're very good at, but you've worked very hard, and the energy around you is not taking it seriously. Yeah, star energy. There's healing there that has to be done in this fresh start. There's healing. So you're hoping that the healing will take place, because the energy is present for that. All 3 piles. Phantom Quartz. Embrace the change. So there's something that you have to think about, right? there's going to be a change, maybe walking away from something that you were working on. I really do feel if someone's questioning in one of the piles about a work environment, maybe you should look differently. And you might have a fresh start with that. And there's something that you learned with the transition that maybe boosts you to make higher money or something like that. A raise. There's a good news coming in there. Bloodstone. Get moving. Let's see what comes from that. Get moving. For the energy around all three piles. Star energy. And show that card. It was a star. So, to get moving, there's a star energy. What's the healing about? What's the healing? Somebody might be a distance from you, and especially in 2, they might be a distance from you. 1 also had it as well. That there's a distance and you feel they're healing, but they're holding. It could be a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. Yeah, they're not expressing anything at this time, They don't know what to do right now. I don't know what that is, but there's a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. A mature person. They care about you, but they don't say nothing. They don't know if it would work out. And that's clarity. They really don't know if there would be a new beginning. So the outside energy is present for maybe in one that made an approach. But I do see the stable card, but I don't see any movement right now. But they're thinking about working on communication with you. Okay? So whoever that was for, your best bet is to leave it alone for a minute, you know what I mean? And then maybe go back to it. So there's an energy of just letting the cards roll, like that, letting it just play out. Yeah, Knight of Cups. The apology didn't work for something. And there was a wish, that maybe a wishy thing that didn't happen again. So somebody wished, but there was no movement with it. I don't know which pile that's for. I really do feel 1, maybe 3. 3, I feel hobby. Let's go to 3. For 3. Can I get 3 more on 3? Right now, you're taking that break. You know something. You're making a decision, but you're being patient with yourself. But you realize, wow, it's getting a little obsessive in strategy and how to do something. So, again, that came out. It will be complete. Same thing laid out. Very, very, very. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it in 3. If you're talented, if you're an artist or something, and you're really good at writing music or whatever your talent is, it's here for you to make a really fresh start. You've got the star energy. That also means healing, but it also can mean stardom. So there's something that you're working on right now, and that's what you've been feeling. Star energy. Don't say to yourself, I'm learning something. That's all I'm feeling for 3. 1. There's double, triple movement here. Maybe you're just keeping yourself busy. You don't want to look at 2 grounding factors. There's 2 things that you have to do that you're kind of putting to the side. So I suggest that maybe you just give it some more time. But it's not going to smooth out by itself. Okay, that's pile 1. Criscola. There's going to be a victory. There's a chance for opportunities to occur with the Phantom Quartz and Criscola. Yeah, and healing. Again, healing. And blocks and healing. Maybe the blocks will transform and new opportunities will open up for all 3 piles. Because sometimes this can mean blocks upside down, right? But but the movement that comes after it is pretty refreshing. We all needed that. I'm not going to bring the news in this time. I'm going to leave it here because it's 25:14. So, a spiritual change in everything, a change in emotions, a change in the wants, a change in the passion. It's like, and it's refreshing. And I think we all feel it. So, again, thank you for stopping in. I really enjoyed this reading, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.